Hey, thanks for coming back to the Bobtail Help Desk. If you're new here, my name is Caroline, and my goal is to help your trucking business thrive. If that sounds good to you, please subscribe to our channel so you never miss another trucking business video. Today I want to talk about one of the biggest expenses in the trucking business, insurance. Whether you have one truck or 1 million trucks, you need commercial trucking insurance. So let's talk about what that means and how to get the best deal. We're going to go through the different types of commercial trucking insurance. Some of them you definitely need, and some of them you might need depending on your situation, what vehicles you operate, and what cargo you haul. Buckle up, this is a pretty extensive list. First is auto liability. That may sound familiar because it's very similar to the auto liability insurance that you get on a personal vehicle. This coverage pays for losses to people and their property in the event of an accident where you're at fault. The FMCSA requires that you have at least $750,000 in auto liability coverage, but most brokers won't work with you unless you have at least $1 million in coverage. Next is cargo insurance. This one protects, well, your cargo. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Most brokers for general freight will expect that you have at least $100,000 in cargo insurance, but you may need more depending on what you're hauling. If you're hauling luxury cars, for example, you're going to need more. When you're getting quotes for cargo insurance, make sure you're looking into the exclusions. Exclusions are part of every insurance policy. They define what your insurance will cover and what it won't cover. For example, some policies will exclude electronics, which can be pretty expensive to replace. So if you're hauling electronics and you have an exclusion in your policy that doesn't cover them, that means that if you get into an accident or something happens to that cargo, it won't be covered by your insurance and you'll have to pay for it out of pocket. Another important point to keep in mind for cargo insurance is auto hauling. Including hauling automobiles in your insurance can get really expensive. So if you're not absolutely sure that you're going to be hauling cars, don't put it in your policy because you'll spend a lot of money for coverage that you're not using. You can always add on coverage as you start working, and if you decide that you want to haul cars, then you can add it on into your coverage. Just don't ever haul anything that your insurance won't cover. You don't want to take that risk. Okay, next up is physical damage. This is what's going to help you replace your trucks or parts in the event of a collision, a fire, or extreme weather. Some policies will include things like vandalism and theft, but not all, so make sure you look into every situation in which your insurance company will pay your claims. When you sign up for this kind of insurance, it's really important to understand the conditions that your truck or your business have to be in order to make a claim. For example, some policies will require that you have your trucks parked at a gated facility with 24-hour security. If something were to happen to your trucks while they were outside of this surveillance, your insurance may not cover those claims. The next type of coverage is general liability. General liability will cover anything that happens in places like a loading dock or a yard. Some brokers will require that you have general liability insurance before you can haul anything for them. Non-trucking liability is a bit of a misnomer. It doesn't mean that it won't cover your trucking business. It means that it will cover situations that happen when your truck isn't under dispatch. This is especially important for owner-operators that may use their vehicle as a personal vehicle or just to drive home. Uninsured motorist coverage will protect you when you get hit by someone who doesn't have insurance and therefore can't pay for the repairs. Trailer interchange insurance is a special type of physical damage insurance, and it's used by power-only carriers who are using other companies' trailers to haul goods. Accidental occupation insurance will help pay for medical bills and disability if you get hurt on the job. And reefer breakdown insurance is required by most brokers if you're hauling refrigerated products for them. So those are the different types of coverage you can get in your commercial trucking insurance. They may go by different names or have different combinations depending on what insurance company you're signing with. And like I said in the beginning, commercial trucking insurance tends to be one of the biggest expenses for trucking companies. But how much does it actually cost? When you're first starting out in the trucking industry, your commercial trucking insurance premiums are likely going to be between $12,000 and $35,000 annually. That sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but you really don't want to skimp on insurance. If you find a rate well below that $12,000 mark when you're first starting out, be suspicious. it's very likely a policy that's not going to give you all the coverage that you actually need. Remember, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And I know what you're thinking. $12,000 to $35,000? That's a big gap. So what actually determines the price of my commercial trucking insurance? Well, there are a lot of factors. Let's talk about some. First is the type of cargo that you're going to haul. This can change the price of your insurance premiums dramatically. For example, accidents involving hazardous material cause a lot more damage to people and property, making it more expensive for the insurer. So if you're not sure that you're going to haul things like hazardous material or automobiles, don't put them in your policy. Again, you can always add on later. Next is your personal and business credit. Credit scores are an indication of how likely you are to pay your bills and generally be responsible. So of course, if you have a higher credit score, you look like less of a risk to an insurance company. Next is your driving history and the driving history of any drivers that are working for you. Insurance companies will pull an MVR or motor vehicle record on you and any drivers that you're including in your policy. In fact, we recommend bringing an MVR to your meetings with insurance agents. This will save them time and you time by getting to an accurate quote faster. The next factor is how long have you had your USDOT number. Insurance is most expensive the first day that a carrier gets their USDOT number. If you can get your USDOT number early on and just wait a little while, that will give you a better chance at a lower rate. Next are things like DUIs, DWIs, and suspended licenses. If you have any of these, you may be turned away from insurance companies altogether. And if an insurance company will work with you, your rates are likely going to be astronomical. Next is your age. Unfortunately, the younger you are, the riskier you are. So people over 35 tend to get better rates. But your CDL age is just as important. The longer you've had your CDL, the better. So if you've been procrastinating about getting your CDL, now's the time to take action. The older your CDL is with a clean record, the better insurance rates you'll get. Next is about location. Where you live has an impact on your insurance rates. This goes all the way down to the county level. So if you end up moving where you park your truck from one county to the next, make sure you tell your insurance agent because you may be eligible for a lower or a higher rate. And finally is where you're going to travel. When you're talking to insurance agents and getting quotes, it's important to talk about where you plan to operate. If you know for sure you're going to be traveling more than 500 miles away from your home base, it's important to include that in your policy. You'll want to be covered anywhere you are in the country, no matter what. Insurance policies typically last 12 months, and you'll be up for renewal after that time. But what you pay for insurance is not set in stone. So let's talk about the different things that can increase or decrease the price of your insurance premiums. Some things that will increase the cost of your insurance premiums are pretty predictable, like accidents or safety violations. Of course, these are indications that you pose more risk to your insurer. But something that can increase insurance premiums significantly that a lot of people don't know about is growth. Growing your trucking business too quickly can pose more risk to your insurer. So make sure you talk to your insurance agents when you're getting quotes about the limitations of growth on your policy. Before you buy any new trucks or hire drivers, make sure you can add them to your policy. Most insurance policies will limit your expansion. The good news is that there are things that can decrease the cost of your insurance premiums. Remember, insurance companies want to keep your business, especially if you're a really safe carrier. Maintaining a clean driving record and hiring more experienced drivers with cleaner records will decrease the amount that you pay for insurance over time. Also, buying or upgrading to newer equipment can decrease the cost of your insurance. Avoiding high population metro areas or areas with notoriously bad weather can also decrease the cost of your premiums. Building your business credit through things like credit cards or fuel cards can also make you look better to your insurance company. Okay, by now you know a lot about commercial trucking insurance, but where do you go to buy it? You should be shopping for insurance well before you actually buy your truck. Once you've bought your truck, you're going to be really anxious to get started in your business, but you can't drive that truck off the lot until you have insurance. So shop around for your insurance policy first. Even if you don't know what type of truck you're going to buy exactly, a lot of the factors like your age, your CDL age, your credit score, your driving history are not going to change. When you're looking around for insurance providers, make sure you limit your search to people who really know about the trucking industry and only get quotes from insurance companies with an A rating at a place like AM Best or another insurance credit rating organization. An A rating means that that insurance company has a good track record of paying out claims and honoring the agreements of the insurance policy. Brokers will also want to know the rating of your insurance company because they also want to make sure that in the event of an accident, they'll get their claims paid. And because you're shopping around, don't just take the first policy that you get a quote on, even if you think it's a really good deal. Get at least 2 more quotes so that you can compare the coverage and the cost. The most important tip that we can share is to ask your insurance agent all of the questions that you have. There is no such thing as a stupid question when you're buying commercial trucking insurance. Remember that part of your premium is going to go to your insurance agent who is paid to help you understand insurance. So get your money's worth. Like I mentioned in the beginning, commercial trucking insurance is one of the biggest expenses that carriers have, right after fuel and driver pay. You're going to need really strong cash flow, especially when you're first starting out, to keep up with all your expenses. But brokers and shippers will take weeks, if not months, to pay for loads. That's where Bobtail's factoring service comes in with same-day payment. Our factoring service pays your invoices quickly so that you can keep up with all the new financial obligations you have as a business owner. We have a super easy to use mobile app and the best customer service around. Not to mention that we don't make you sign a long-term contract and we never charge hidden fees. Visit bobtail.com or click the link in the description to learn more about our factoring service. I hope you found this video useful. If you've been shopping for commercial trucking insurance, let us know in the comments below. What other questions do you have? And I'll see you next time on the Bobtail Help Desk.